Why would a man shoot an arrow with no feathers for tuning with his Pamela? Because these guys fly better. Stay tuned. Do you think he exploded?
I don't know.
We all know when you really talk about the real deal, 95% of us shoot 22 yards average. Out of a tree stand, a lot of whitetail shooting, a lot of average shots at distance. And then there's the Western guys. And I've got a friend who was all panicked last year. He had to be able to shoot 60 to kill an elk, and he shot the damn thing at 17 yards. He killed it. He missed a few in the past. Okay, so this is how I tune my bow. This is how I tuned Pamela in 22 shots a year ago, and it didn't have a rest when it showed up. I told the guys at Expedition, if you send me a bow, it better be easy to tune or I'll send it back. I don't have a bow press. I don't have any little wing dinger teased things. I have a very rough way of just zeroing the thing and going to kill stuff. I don't care. And I think that's 95% of you out there. You can see in the background I have an elk target. I'm here at the range in Austin Archery Club, and first thing you need is a substantial target, or your target needs to be sitting still. Because if it hits the target and the target wobbles around, you're gonna get false readings and you're gonna freaking go crazy. The second thing is, don't get too panicky. Once the bear shafts start flying on target, you get a little one this way and a little one that way, and you get one that hits straight, don't stand there and just OCD out and just freaking, oh, it's time for some Xanax, because every one of them's not shooting perfectly straight. You're gonna be okay. But when you've got all of them going this way, and I'm gonna show you that, or all of them going that way, then you gotta do something. But when you start to zero it in, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have boom, 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 bang, 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 boom, boom. You know what that is? The freaking human part. You're not a machine. When you release, every one of us releases different. Some of those guys got this big, thump, thing going. But I see a lot of this. When you watch guys release, they're looking, and you got to tune that in. Did you hear me? You need to tune in your twitches. And I think that's where bear shafting excels. Third point. A bear shaft arrow is not a fletched arrow. I get it. A broadhead with fletchings is not a bear shaft, nor is it a fletched arrow. They're all three different tools. So here's my theory, and it's proven out through multiple bows and friends and everything else. I take it to the highest level of difficulty. Bear shaft, field point. Do not broadhead tune. Don't shoot broadheads with no feathers.
Don't shoot broadheads with no feathers.
They're gonna go like this because you put wings on the front. That's why I say bear shaft is not a fletched shaft, and a shaft with fletchings on both ends is neither. All three arrows are different. So I take my bow to the highest level of difficulty, bear shaft, and I zero with that at 20 yards. The theory being this: if this thing's taken off perfectly straight with nothing on it, okay, and wings on the back, they make corrections for this when you're excited. Trust me, man, you can stand around in the archery shop for hours and pound away and say, perfect form, I'm gonna follow through. But when there's a 180-inch deer in front of you, or a 12-inch deer in front of you, or a big fat hog like I like to shoot, we get excited and that crap goes out the window. So if you tune the bow to your normal twitches, you're gonna kill stuff. If everything's gotta be perfect, if everything has to be just like it was when you're shooting 3D and you have all the time in the world, or when you're shooting indoors, your broadheads fly stupid. And that's why you say, oh, fixed blades don't fly. I gotta get me one of them mechanicals. Of course, it only penetrates 4 inches, but every once in a while I kill something. Okay, great. By the way, this helps with mechanicals too. Here we go. I'm gonna set it up. Bye. All right, here's your elk target. My truck's over there, and you can see that orange dealy whopper on the back of my truck. I'm gonna be standing in front of that. I'm gonna shoot the elk, and then I'm gonna walk back here and I'm gonna show you the arrows, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like when you move the rest around. I'm gonna take my bow out of tune and then put it right back in. That's how we're gonna do this. Stay tuned for a little more information. Down the string. When I first got Pamela, I slid it out of the box. I looked at about 3 videos on YouTube on how to put a QAD on because I was excited. So I stripped all the stuff off the Angel of Death, my Switchback XT. That thing's, good Lord, there's a lot of animals in that bow. And I just wanted to shoot. So I looked on YouTube. I got some other videos. You can do that to, how to install a QAD, because that's what I had, and I had them pretty reliable. And I wanted to install it. The way I installed it was I set up the rest. Center shot was already determined from the factory there. And then I eyeballed it. I eyeballed the string down the middle of the rest. And when I saw the string look like it was going straight down this groove in the wheel. That's my rough adjustment for the rest. You see the angle of the camera right there? I can't show it to you. I got to get, I can't really get it right. So what I did was I looked from behind the bow when the string was down the middle of my rest and it was down the middle of the wheel. Close enough. That's where I started. Okay, vertical was pretty much set. QAD adjusts side to side right here. I marked it where it shoots bare shafts, and that way I can always go back. The other day I dropped it and it knocked it off somehow. The thing got loose and the arrow shot about 3 feet left. So with that mark on there, I was able to tell where it was. For you anal retentive people who don't scratch your gear, well, you may not want to do that, but I suggest you mark it. And then on the QAD on the side here, that's the vertical adjustment. I'm going to talk about left to right fishtailing. So if it's coming in like this or going like that, just adjust it up and down until it hits square, okay? And that's this adjustment right here. You can see it's got scratches on it too because it's zeroed. So it gets me back to zero, something stupid happens. You'll see I stripped the fletchings and I left this on there. I don't care about the weight. It was just easier to cut them off that way. Some people say, well, you probably ought to leave some weight back there or put some tape back there. Holy crap, if you can't tune it without the extra 12 grains back there or whatever it is, get a grip. And then in the front of the shafts, of course, I have 100 grains. These are Ethics Archery 100 grain inserts. And then this is a 200 grain Amber Waves of Grain field point from Dr. Sean at Bishop. They used to be gold, but I actually shoot them, so they're not gold anymore. And that one's got a little curly nose on it. I might have hit something hard. Okay, I'm gonna shoot the 2 arrows, leave the Luminox on, and I'm gonna take it out of tune left and out of tune right and show you that. And then I'll put it back into tune, and that'll give you an idea how to bare shaft tune. Here we go. I'm gonna unscrew the screw. Get you close up. There's the mark. I'm gonna move the rest a full line over. So the scratch is right here, and I moved it fully over one full line on there so I know where it was. I mean, obviously I have a scratch, right? So what we're gonna see is very consistent arrow lean. You're obviously gonna go to one side or the other because you move the rest and it actually physically moves where the point launches. But we're also gonna see the arrows in the target leaning one way very consistently, which tells you that there's a consistent problem, which is easy to fix. Which is weird because in tune shoots both a little bit because one's going here, one's going there. It's almost perfect. And if you really get crazy, you can time tune. I like to hunt. Screw tuning, it's boring. Anyway, this helps. Why are you making a tuning video if it's so boring? Because broadheads fly better and you can kill stuff. Then you can go hunting. If you don't believe I shot the shots, then turn the video off. It's boring to watch somebody shoot because I want to be shooting. So what we got here is my arrows. Okay, they're tight. They look pretty good. Until you get back here, that the arrows are pointing over there. They're supposed to be pointing at the orange thing, but they're pointing at the tire on my truck. So they're coming in to the tail like this. They're coming in sideways like that. But they look good, right? They look good until you shoot a broadhead. And the front fletchings catch the air and it takes off wonky. Remember, that's the deal. I think if I can get a bare shaft to fly true, then the bow's pushing the shaft straight, the fletchings are in the back correcting for any mistakes, and the broadhead can't take over. But when you shoot an arrow like that and it launches like this, the broadhead's already going to catch air. Even the max, I'm sorry. There's a big piece of stuff out there. All right, I'm going to move it the other way. Here we go. Okay, to clarify, that's dead zero. There's the mark. You can see the scratch. I just moved the rest this direction, which means the point is going this way. Okay? And those arrows hit to the right of the shoulder on the right-hand side, and then the arrow corrects and tries to steer back and hits kind of wonky like that. Okay? So the point's like this, and it goes like this. So I'm going to pull the rest the other direction now and get it way out of whack and put it over here. This puts the point facing over here, and it's going to want to fly in like that. So it's going to curve in like this, and you're going to see this in the target. It's consistent, just dunk, dunk, dunk. So here we go, and then I'll return it to zero later. All right, I shot this shot a couple of times, and it's really getting weird. It's hard to group them all of a sudden. So there's the arrows. Okay. They've obviously moved. The last shot was on this side because I moved the rest that direction. It's zeroed in the middle, right? And then when I move the rest to the left, the arrows are moving left. So that's not a sight issue, that's the rest because I'm moving the rest around. But here we are from behind the target. Right there is where I want the arrows to come in. And these guys are pointing way over to the side. So they look pretty good in the target, right? I mean, you think, oh, that's bare shaft tuned. Like they're hitting straight. Well, they're not. They're coming in sideways, basically. And you put a freaking broadhead on the front of that. I don't care what it is. I'm not a mech hater. I don't care. Shoot mechs. Freaking grow archery. Help people do stuff. You don't listen to us and say, hey, those heavy arrows are for idiots. Fine. I don't care. It's just when you put extra crap on the front of your arrow and it takes off sideways, extra crap on the front is like steering. And this is why people have, oh, broadhead tuning, that don't work. It's because you don't spend enough time trying. I'm going to put it back in tune and show you what it looks like. That's the last one you saw. Here's my scratch for zero, and then I had moved it to this scratch right here for the other shot, so it went in the shoulder. Okay, I'm going to break it loose, center it back up, and then shoot bare shaft shots in tune. I know where tune is, and I've taken it out of tune for you. Okay, so I'm going to try to shoot. You're not going to be able to see right down the shaft, so it may look like it's leaning a little bit because the camera angle is over here, okay? I'm going to try to shoot, and then we'll go up to the target and take a look at it. I am not shooting for accuracy. I'm shooting for tune. I'll try to group them, but it's not my problem right now. I want to make sure the arrows are flying perfect. There we go. Okay, I shot 2 shots. It's boring to watch a guy shoot a bow. Here's tune. Okay, that's very sexy. They really behave better than you think they're gonna. Obviously, the bow was tuned. The sights are on. You know, I made 2 good shots here. And then we'll go behind the target like we've been doing just to be, you know, intellectually honest. So we have the 2 arrows at the orange thing over there. And you can see my tripod. And that's where you want to be. We got 2 arrows pointing right at the tripod and right at the orange thing. Remember, one of them was pointing at the tire, one of them was pointing at the bush, and this was pointing right at the tripod. I can honestly say I don't know that I was in fact in front of the orange dealy whopper. But if you go back on the video, you'll see the one set was aiming at the tire, one set was aiming at the tire, one set was aiming at the bush, and then these are right down the middle, and they're also nicely spaced, and they're both tracking the same. So that's what I do for tuning. And now what do I do for the final tune? I put fletched arrows on there and I shoot in zero. I don't try to make the fletched and the bear shafts hit together because they're two different arrows. I talked about this in the beginning of the video. There's the arrows you want to fly. Haha, toys for shooting stuff. But you got your fletched. And then there's field points, which most of us shoot all the time. So that's how I do it. It's gonna probably make some people roll over in their grave. And some of you big time archery shop guys are gonna freaking just have a cow, I know. And maybe Big Mike Tanaka will say, I'm disowning you as a friend because that's the dumbest thing I ever heard of. But when you can get them shoot like that, with just a rough in kind of deal, 90% of us who just bow hunt and want our bows to work, you're gonna be a winner and your broadhead's gonna shoot better. All right, to close, subscribe to the channel because there's gonna be more videos like this, and I think this stuff is kind of helpful for the average archer. For you guys who are super anal retentive and work in an archery shop and you shoot FIDA and you're 3D and all that stuff, that's fine. I don't care either way, but I'm just a bow hunter. I don't worry about all that stuff. I need simple, effective killing, and I need broadheads to fly, and this is something that has worked for me for years. Tune a bear shaft, go to fletched, 0, and go hunting. It's a 40-yard deal. For you guys who are gonna shoot beyond 40, you gotta get some help, like professional help. I am not your man. But if you wanna pop a deer inside of 25, like the average guy does with good broadheads, and good broadheads that are gonna penetrate, like I suggest on the channel, this is how you do it, all the way up to 600-700 grains. I've done it, it's on my channel. No one else is doing this stuff, and I'm sorry. I'm the only one, me and Big Mike Tanaka are the only people on YouTube shooting crazy heavy arrows and playing with everything. So I don't know how we're not believable. Second thing, bear shaft is not fletched. A fletched arrow is not a bear shaft. And an arrow with a broadhead and fletchings is neither. They're all three different systems, I believe. That's why you take the most difficult level of magnitude, a bear shaft, and tune it. Position. This is the biggest mistake in bear shaft tuning. You set your rest, you set your draw weight, you set your arrow length, you set your arrow point weight. You won't mess with anything. You are fixed. This is what I'm doing. I'm cranking it to the stops. I'm shooting 28 inches, and I'm not going to mess with anything. I'm not moving the rest. I'm not changing my arrows. I'm not putting different points on. I'm not doing anything. Well, it's not going to tune. If I got to lose 3 pounds of draw weight to get it to shoot, I do it. I didn't have to do it here. These excursions are incredible. If I have to increase draw weight, if I have to add 2 inches of shaft on my arrows so that they'll fly, I'll do it. I don't care. Big Mike sent me 2 32-inch kinetic chaoses, 200s. They're really long and they got huge points and weight on them, and they shoot like darts. I don't care. I don't care. Third, get over yourself. Seriously. Take a few chances and take some time. Most people aren't patient enough with this, and you just don't give it a chance. So you say it can't be done. And then finally, for you guys shooting really, really fast and really, really low FOC setups, I know you people get sick and tired of me preaching heavier points. It just kills stuff better. Remember, I go back to bow hunting 100%, and I go back to growing bow hunting 100%. I don't care about 3D. Y'all do that. That's not my job. My job is to grow bow hunting and get new bow hunters in and have them kill stuff and be smiling like a jackass eating prickly pears when they're done and say, the ranch fairy helped me. That's what I do. You guys want to do the other stuff and get all anal and have freaking bow presses in your freaking house? I don't care. Great. Do it. I'm never going to do it. Never. I just go hunting. Put out some effort. Dare to increase your point weight. Maybe shoot a longer shaft. Maybe shoot a different arrow. Bear shaft tune your bow. And when it works, shoot that. It's a pretty simple equation. When it works, do that. Don't undo it. But don't fix yourself in too many different things and not be willing to change. If you do that, that is called insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, making no changes to yourself, and expecting something different to happen. Ranch Fairy out.
Okay, go.